single drop of that river is lost, our blood will be the alternative. We're not calling for war, but we will never allow anyone to threaten our security.
The message drew raucous support. Recently, Ethiopia started diverting a section of the Blue Nile to build a massive dam capable of producing enough electricity for more than 85 million Ethiopians. The project has been named the Grand Renaissance.
Everyone is now thinking big. We are really marching toward this prosperous Ethiopia.
Egypt, however, claims historic rights to the majority of the Nile's waters, as well as a veto power over upstream projects. The Egyptian government is now determined to protect the country's interests, as witnessed during this cabinet meeting. Some Egyptian politicians, unaware they were being filmed on live TV, suggested using force to block the project.
If all these attempts failed, we may resort to our intelligence agencies in order to destroy any dam that undermines Egypt's security.
We should intervene in their domestic affairs.
A tough rhetoric, but the Ethiopian government says the construction of the dam, scheduled to be completed by 2016, is not open to negotiation.
Okay, Dr. Ahola Marshall is a specialist on East African politics. He joins us today on set for more on the turbulent relations between Egypt and Ethiopia over this Nile project. Now, Egypt's identity is pretty much synonymous with the Nile. It says it has historic rights to its waters. On the other hand, upriver, you have Ethiopia, the source of the river. So who owns the Nile?
Nobody on everybody. I think what is going to happen is certainly a tough discussion among the two capitals to try to find out a good solution, workable for all. And both have very good arguments, and maybe they need some international support for getting the right way.
So what exactly does Cairo want out of this? They can't really expect to stop the project dead in the water. So what kind of compromise is it hoping for?
First, winning time, of course. Second, maybe have a better insurance that the dam won't be used for irrigation, only for electricity production. And as well, maybe a further discussion on the amount of water that will be kept in the dam.
Okay, now, there's a long history of conflict over the Nile between all of the countries who have claim rights to its water. If you could answer that really rather quickly, because we're kind of running out of time.
Yes, I would say more than conflict, I would say competitions. And of course, the colonial powers define a certain share that is now, put into question. But again, let us feel that this takes place at a time the whole energy map of the region is changing. Therefore, there should be a solution.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Dr. Ahola Marshall there. Okay, in other news, South Africa's President Zuma has said that he's reassured after having spoken to doctors looking after Nelson Mandela. The 94-year-old has spent a fourth day in hospital being treated for a recurring lung infection. His condition is still said to be serious but stable, and supporters from South Africa and around the world have wished the former president and anti-apartheid hero a speedy recovery.
Yesterday, I met a team of doctors who are treating him. They gave me a very thorough briefing, and really, I was very confident that they know what they're doing, and they're doing a very good job. Whilst it's very serious, but he's stabilized. And we are all praying for him really to recuperate quickly. Knowing him as I do is a good fighter. He will be with us very soon.
Okay, to Ghana now, where the government's had enough of unsanctioned foreign exploitation of a gold rush. Over 50 West Africans have been arrested in a crackdown that's already seen dozens of illegal Chinese miners picked up by police. Nicholas Joma tells us more.
Ghana's police has been busy in recent days. After arresting more than 200 Chinese workers suspected of illegal gold mining, more than 50 West Africans from Niger, Togo and Nigeria were then also taken into custody as part of a crackdown.
For us, the task is to ensure that the degradation that is going on in terms of our environment and our water bodies is halted. And in that process of halting such illegal activities. If we find foreigners in the business of small-scale mining, we would have them arrested.
Beijing reacted swiftly after the arrests of the Chinese workers, warning against any mistreatment of China's nationals.
We call on the Ghanaian security agencies to show strong discipline, to enforce laws, and we urge the authorities to prevent Chinese citizens from being robbed and to guarantee their safety and their rights.
President John Dramani Mahama had been under increasing pressure to halt the illegal mining by foreigners. He formed a task force last month to tackle the problem in a country which is the continent's second biggest gold producer after South Africa.
In Kenya, activists branding Parliament a piggy bank spilt pig's blood outside the government building during a protest against a recent hike in MPs' salaries. Leaders of the rally say this is an embarrassment in a country where most people only earn around 1,300 euros a year. Last month, lawmakers voted themselves a pay rise, overturning cuts that had been ordered by the National Salaries Commission. The boost saw their income return to around 7,500 euros a month, more than legislators earn here in France. Well, Algeria has confirmed that its long-absent president is recovering from a stroke and not a mini-stroke, as it first reported. Speculation about Abdelaziz Bouteflika's health has mounted since the 76-year-old was flown to France after falling ill in April. Prime Minister Abdelmalek Sellal reportedly visited the ailing leader at hospital in Paris on Tuesday.
Okay, now, Georgia, staying in Algeria, there's just time for a quick trip to the movies.
Yes, Cyril. Now, before the late 80s, Algeria actually had a pretty thriving film scene. And Algiers was actually home to what was once called Africa's most important cinema. But the civil war in the 1990s brought all that to an end. And going to the cinema was actually banned in 1988. Well, today, the capital still has very, very few places that screen movies. Our Karim Hakiki has been to meet one woman who's using her political influence to try and raise the curtain on the silver screen once more.
Mehdia Bengalia is on a mission. The 25-year-old is in charge of arts and culture for the city of Algiers. She's overseeing the restoration of one of the capital's oldest cinemas. Its grand opening is scheduled for the end of June, and with the deadline fast approaching, the deputy mayor is worried.
Who installed the sign up there? Where's the person in charge of the company that installed it? There's a spelling mistake. It has to be changed right away. The dots aren't in the right place.
As there are few arts venues in the capital and even fewer in smaller cities, cinema houses like this are vital. But inside there's much more work to be done. And there's little time to lose for Mehdia Bengalia, who is at once deputy mayor and arts enthusiast.
For me, cinema is art, which serves to cultivate the population. I think it's an essential part of life for Algerians, and I've made it a personal matter. The cinema's reopening in Algiers is my priority, with the projection of world films.
Even before Bengalia has left the building, they're already at work fixing the sign. The deputy mayor wants to get it right, to set an example for the other cities intent on refurbishing their artistic institutions. There are fewer than 24 cinema houses across the country. Algeria's other major cities are still waiting for their own.
Okay, that's it from my roundup for now, but I will be back in an hour with more.
All right, that was the African News with Georgia Calvin-Smith. Looking forward to that other roundup. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me. This has been live from Paris. More news coming up on France 24 right after this.